Hello again, folks. It's back to the kitchen. We're cooking one of my favorite camp meals, which is really more a late fall, winter meal, but I bought these beans and I'm using dried beans. If you don't want to use dried beans, if you want to use the canned beans, in the description below I'll put where this ends so you can jump ahead to having the beans already. But we're going to put these in the Cosori Instant Pot thing, and we're just going to put them in there soak them for 6 to 10 hours, which would be overnight. I think everybody knows the problem with beans is that they produce gas. And one of the things that I have found out or was told was that the longer you soak them, the less gas they produce, the less upset they are. And what you got to do is you got to put dried beans, you put them in a pot like this. You have to kind of go through them and pick out the bad ones, throw them in the garbage. And then all I'm going to do now is fill it with water. So, there they are in the water. I'll put the top on it just for fun. And let them sit. Okay, it has been roughly 24 hours or so since we started soaking the beans, and they are quite large in the pot. We're going to rinse the beans, rinse the pot, and then put the beans in for cooking. So we have drained and washed the beans, rinsed them off in the sink, and because I soaked them so long, they should not be very gassy, because it really was a long time. It was probably more like 18 hours to how long they were actually in there. So they should be really well rinsed and washed. And now they have to be cooked. Beans, if not cooked, are actually poisonous. I don't think they'll kill you, but they definitely will make you sick. They have some things in them that have to be denatured, cooked away. So we're going to now cook them. And the nice thing about the Cosori is it has a bean cooking setting. So we'll just put water in there and put it on the setting, and it'll go cooking away. Set it for steam, hit beans, chili, and on. And there it goes. Okay, it's been 15 minutes of cooking and about 10 minutes to get the steam out. I did let the steam out, and it cooled down on its own, but now we'll open it up, and again, it's hot, so we'll drain the water, clean the beans, rinse them down. They're all cooked, ready to go in the chili. So that's the next step, to start the chili. All right, ready? Let's go there. Now we're gonna put peppers in there, and the only hot part of a pepper, the green peppers anyways, these peppers, are the seeds. So we take the seeds out and you cut them in half, and then you just pull the seeds out of the middle. Throw it in the garbage, and if there's extra seeds, you pull those out. Some of the little skins in the top. Then we're going to cut them into long pieces like that and throw them in the food processor. Throw them in the food processor, and the food processor is going to make short order of them. Now we're just chopping them up. We're not pureeing them. So it's a lot of stop and goes. And this is chili, so it's almost like a soup. So there's and there's no fuss, no muss, no mess. And the big part of this is grated carrots. Come on in a little bit. This is grated carrots. And that's one of the secret ingredients for this, because this is a vegetarian chili. So you need to have a lot of stuff in there. So we got grated carrots, we got peppers, which we will just dump right there. It's on a piece of plastic wrap, or it's on a piece of wax paper, so we'll just dump that on there with that. We're going to do the same with an onion. We cut the head and the tail off it. They go in the garbage. Then I cut it once in half so it's easy to peel. Peel the outer layer off on both sides. And again, it's chili, so the whole thing goes in there. But I do cut it so it fits in the food processor. Just like that. Goes in my food processor. Like that. Running out of camera space here. And again, we don't liquefy it, we just want to grate it, chop it. And when it stops jumping around, it's probably the way I want it. So that goes there, and we throw that right there too. And this is a recipe that I got from Runner's World a long time ago. I'm going to do this over the garbage, excuse me. Runner's World had a nutritionist that had some real good information about nutrition, and I verified it online with a lot of other resources. And this has a ton of essential vitamins and minerals and all sorts of things. So we're going to put that in there. Again, into the food processor, same as the green onion. Get in there. Don't try to run away. Where's the top? Oops. Somebody's making a mess here. Now, if you don't have a food processor like this one, this is the nicest little food processor. Of course, you can just use a knife and just chop it up. That's what I used to do until I decided I got sick of crying over the onions. Now, we also have garlic, of course, and my garlic is a little on the old side. And if you don't know how to do garlic, you just take it, go like that a few times, and it'll all fall apart. And we're going to use this whole thing, but the outside, I think that's probably plenty. Get rid of the garbage here. If you've got a nice big chef's knife, you get this over there like that, go like that. And it crushes them so they split, and then you take the meat out of the middle, throw that in the food processor. This one didn't split, this one did. It's hard to do it when there's so many of them. It doesn't matter if they've got stalks coming out of them. The stalks will work just as well. It just milds them up just a tad. You can, again, if you don't have the food processor, you can put them through a garlic press. Or you can press them with the knife like I just smashed them. You can smash them all the way to paste and use them that way. Or you could just put the whole garlic clove unpressed into the mix. Alright, so, and then the other part of this recipe, again, this is health food. This is not your basic chili, this is super healthy chili. And it tastes great too. But these are shiitake mushrooms, and shiitake mushrooms have some, you can't food process these because they will turn into mush. And you'll ruin them. But you just chop them up a little bit. They're kind of like the meat they're kind of like the meat in the chili. So I just chopped those up a little bit. And now I suppose these could all just go right into the crock pot. But what I usually do is I usually cook them in a frying pan. I usually make this in my wok. Here are the mushrooms. And again, these are either shiitakes, or if you can find wild ones, the Maitakes, which grow around the base of oak trees. Usually we call them hen of the woods. And then, so the battery conked out, of course. I was going to add celery to it, but this celery looks a little more limp than I want, and celery really, in my opinion, adds no flavor at all, so we're going to dump that. But just for a little different flavor, we're going to add olive oil, an extra virgin olive oil to the pan to cook it in. We don't need to use butter for this. So we're over here at the pan, and we're going to let that warm up a minute. So we're going to take over here with the peppers and the onions and throw that into the pan. And try not to get any of the wax paper. Again, usually I would do this in a wok, but because I'm doing this with you guys, I'm going to do it in a large frying pan so you can kind of see it. Now while that's warming up, because that's a lot of materials in a small frying pan, because this is vegetarian, it doesn't have a lot of protein, we bought some extra firm tofu, and this is part of the original recipe. However, I don't always put tofu in it. Now this is cubed already, but I just take my knife and kind of run it through it a little bit so it's a little more cut up. I mean, the smaller the better as far as I'm concerned, so nobody notices. Alright, and this can go in here. The thing about this is that cooking this like this will give the tofu some flavor. This probably isn't necessary. Probably just, I could probably put that directly into the Cosori and cook it up like that. Alright, the problem with cooking today is it's 95 degrees outside and I'm standing over a hot stove. That's kind of a mistake in my opinion. We just got back from a walk down on our Greenway Trail and we met a really nice puppy German Shepherd. He was 7 or 8 months old, big lanky puppy, kind of cute. I'm going to turn the Cosori onto saute and put the rest of this in there because my frying pan, if I have too much more in there, it's going to overflow all over my stove, and I don't want to do that. The Cosori is a 6-quart, so it should take all of this, and I'll do the mushrooms in there. Mushrooms should always be cooked, no matter what mushrooms you get from where. They should always be sauteed a little bit because there's some things in them that might not agree with you, and you know, you don't want to eat raw mushrooms. It's just not a good idea. Now this is cooking down rather nicely. There's a lot of water in the peppers and the onions and everything. It's shrinking down quite a bit. I probably could put a lot more in here. I don't know. Can you see? You can't really see the little pieces of carrots, the green. It adds a nice color to it. And of course, we're going to put tomatoes in here. Now I'm cooking in 2 places. I'm going to put this in there with the mushrooms now and cook the rest on here. I want to get them well fried. Now in the Cosori that's cooking over here, it's getting ready to do real thing. I'll put a little red pepper, cayenne pepper, okay, and of course a couple tablespoons of chili powder and some turmeric. Now if I had some Tabasco, I'd put that in there, but I don't seem to have any, which I usually do, but I must have ran out. All right, I think that's good. I'm going to turn that off and go over to the Cosori. Put all of this in the Cosori. And it is on high saute right at the moment. So it is boiling and bubbling. We added a little water to it. Now we're going to add crushed tomatoes, totally crushed, not just peeled, not just, trying to do this without losing the top in there too. Oops, I lost the top. I've only had one of these for a little while. If you don't have one of these are great. I don't know what they're made out of, silicone or something like that, but they're indestructible, and they just do great. You can use them for anything. You remember these? These are the beans. Now the beans go in there. So I've just put 2 teaspoons of cayenne pepper, 2 teaspoons, let's zoom you in a little bit. I got everything in the Cosori. I got turmeric, about a tablespoon of turmeric, tablespoon of chili pepper powder, and cayenne pepper. Now you might have noticed, if you were watching, I haven't put any salt or pepper in here, regular black pepper. And the reason is I'll do that at the very end. When I want to figure out how good it tastes or how bad it tastes, I'll do that at the very end. Alright, we've got it on slow cook. We're going to put the top back on it. And it's going to cook for 8 hours. I'll show you this. It's going to cook for 8 hours at approximately 200 degrees. We got the steamer, so it's not going to be steaming, it's just slow cook. I'll bring you back when it's done and we'll have a taste test. Okay? Okay folks, so it is done. It is cooked. And it looks pretty good. What I usually do is I take the smallest possible bowl, a fork, stir it up, put it in the bowl, and rinse it around in the bowl to cool it down, and taste it. A little bland, and as I said, it doesn't have any salt or pepper in it. So I'm going to put about a teaspoon of salt and a tablespoon of pepper. So wait here, I'll be right back. Now here's the pepper, because I actually grind the pepper fresh. And one thing I totally forgot to put in as the ingredients is cumin. Cumin, however you say it. I put quite a bit of this in there because it gives it kind of a Mediterranean flavor. And I probably put a tablespoon and a half of that in there. Let's see if that does anything. Now it's not very hot. This is very mild. I only put a tablespoon of chili pepper in it and a tablespoon of cayenne pepper, which really doesn't make a real strong hot stuff, but I don't like it real hot. I just like it to have enough spice to clear my nostrils. So, oh, much better. It's funny, you know. Ooh, a little warm too. It's funny how much salt can make a difference on a food, but you put too much salt and you can't ever go back. So I always wait till the very end to put salt and pepper in, and I put a little bit at a time. But this is very good. So it's mild, but it's hot. It's spicy. But it's real good. That's my vegetarian chili, and like I say, it hardly looks like vegetarian chili. So folks, I hope you like this recipe. If you do, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. What the heck? I noticed that my food recipes are not in the top 10 things, so this is probably the last one I do for a little while. Anyways, we're going camping this weekend. We're going to take some of this with us, and we'll be eating it out over a campfire. So I'll put the full recipe down below. Look in the description down below. I'll put the full recipe in there. I'll probably also put it on the web page as soon as I get around to doing the web page, and maybe I'll roll it on the end on the credits. But thanks for watching. I know this is a long video because I did the beans from scratch, but it's well worth it. If you go camping, especially winter camping, even if you just go out in the winter, this is a great thing to take. Microwave it. Hope you try it. Thanks for watching. Akila will be in the next video. You just saw him walking back and forth here. He really wants some of this, but I think it would be a bad idea. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.